red button.
It's not on until you.
Welcome to the Southern Illinois University Board of Trustees full board meeting. I will call this meeting to order. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Curtis,
Present.
Gilbert,
Present.
Harris,
Present.
Hightower, Ludwig,
Present.
Salger, present, Sharma,
Present.
Simmons, Tedrick.
Present. Okay, a quorum has been established. The first item of board business is the election of officers, executive committee and board representatives, and annual appointments by the chair. First, are there any nominations for chair of the board?
I would like to nominate Phil Gilbert. Second.
Okay, are there any other nominations for chair? Okay, the nominations for chair are closed. Madam Secretary, please proceed with a roll call vote for the election of chair with me as the only candidate.
That was eloquent.
And it's the first time I've ever run unopposed, you know.
Curtis,
Yes.
Gilbert,
Yes.
Harris,
Yes.
Hightower, Ludwig,
Yes.
Salger, yes, Sharma,
Yes.
Simmons, Tedrick.
Yes.
Okay, the motion passes. I want to thank my fellow board members for the confidence they have in me, and I'm only as good as my fellow board members, and you folks are the best. And I appreciate your confidence for another year. Next, we will need to elect a vice chair and secretary. I nominate Ed Hightower as vice chair and Shabazz Sharma as secretary.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Are there any other nominations? Okay, the nominations are closed. Madam Secretary, please proceed with a roll call vote for the election of vice chair and secretary with the following candidates: Ed Hightower as vice chair and Shabazz Sharma as secretary.
Curtis,
Yes.
Gilbert,
Yes.
Harris,
Yes.
Hightower, Ludwig,
Yes.
Salger, yes, Sharma,
Yes.
Simmons, Tedrick.
Yes.
I declare by the majority of voting members present, Ed Hightower has been elected vice chair and Shabazz Sharma has been elected secretary. Next, we need to elect members of the executive committee. I nominate John Simmons and Roger Tedrick to serve as members of the executive committee of the Board of Trustees. Are there any other nominations? The nominations are now closed. Madam Secretary, please proceed with a roll call vote for the election of the members of the executive committee with the following candidates: John Simmons and Roger Tedrick.
Curtis,
Yes.
Gilbert,
Yes.
Harris,
Yes.
Hightower, Ludwig,
Yes.
Salger, yes, Sharma,
Yes.
Simmons, Tedrick.
Yes.
I declare that by a majority of the voting members present, John Simmons and Roger Tedrick have been elected as members of the executive committee. As required by the State University's Civil Service Act, our board elects a representative to serve on the State University Civil Service Merit Board. Are there any nominations? John Simmons has served in this capacity in the past, and so I nominate John Simmons. Any other nominations? The nominations are closed. Madam Secretary, please proceed with a roll call vote for John Simmons to be elected as civil service representative.
Curtis,
Yes.
Gilbert,
Yes.
Harris,
Yes.
Hightower, Ludwig,
Yes.
Salger, yes, Sharma,
Yes.
Simmons, Tedrick.
Yes.
I declare that John Simmons has been elected by a majority of the voting members present to serve as our representative on the State University Civil Service System Merit Board. The next are the annual appointments by the chair. I'm appointing as the Academic Committee, Academic Matters Committee, Ed Hightower as chair, Also, members of that committee will be Lauren Harris, Sarah Salger, and Shabazz Sharma. On the Architectural and Design Committee, I appoint John Simmons as chair, with Ed Curtis, Victor Ludwig, and Roger Tedrick as members. On the Audit Committee, I appoint Ed Curtis as chair, with Lauren Harris and Sarah Salger as members. The Finance Committee, I appoint Roger Tedrick as chair, with Ed Curtis, Victor Ludwig, and Shabazz Sharma as members. The Board of Directors of the Illinois University Foundation, the members will be Roger Tedrick, and the alternate will be Shabazz Sharma. The Board of Directors for Illinois University at Edwardsville Foundation, the member will be Ed Hightower, with the alternate Sarah Salger. The Joint Trustees Committee for Springfield Medical Education Programs the member will be John Simmons, and Phil Gilbert will be the alternate. And the Board of Directors, the Association of Alumni, Former Students, and Friends of Illinois University Incorporated, the members will be Shabazz Sharma and Phil Gilbert, the alternate. The Board of Directors of the Alumni Association of Illinois University Edwardsville will be Sarah Salger, with Ed Hightower as the alternate. And the SIU Healthcare Board of Directors will be John Simmons. That concludes the appointments segments of this agenda. We will now proceed with the committee meetings. The first committee meeting today is the Academic Matters Committee. In order to have a physical quorum present as required by the Academic Matters Committee, I appoint myself as a member pro tem of the Academic Matters Committee meeting to be held February 8th, 2024. Additionally, I hereby appoint committee member Salger to serve as chair pro tem of the Academic Matters Committee for today's meeting. Trustee Salger, you may proceed.
Good morning. The meeting of the Academic Matters Committee is now in session. Dr. Gupchup, are there any announcements?
Thank you, Trustee Salger. I would like to share two updates. As you know, the Staff Advisory Council for the SIU system has conducted system-wide staff leadership training for the last 2 years. Last fall, the training was entitled Unleash Initiative and Enhance Decisions. And in the fall of 2022, the training was entitled The Roles of a Leader. Last fall, 485 staff attended, up from 408 in the previous year. One staff member commented about the training, "This is a wonderful opportunity for personal and professional development. It is nice to see the university investing in its employees." Additionally, the Staff Advisory Committee has worked with the School of Medicine Center for Human and Organizational Potential, who have conducted 4 webinars for the staff system-wide. The most recent webinar was on February 5th and was entitled Culture Change, Understanding Your Unique Roles. Well over 100 staff have attended each webinar. Thank you to the Board of Trustees, President Mahoney, the Chancellors, for making these trainings a possibility. My second item today is an update on the Doctor of Pharmacy and Physician Assistant Priority Admission Pathway. This is a collaborative effort between the School of Pharmacy and the School of Medicine. Dr. Jing Fan, Assistant Dean of the School of Pharmacy, and Dr. Don Deemer, Director of the Physician Assistant Program, will provide an update. Drs. Fan and Deemer, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Dr. Gupchup. I would like to present a collaboration between the School of Pharmacy and School of Medicine for this Doctor of Pharmacy or PharmD to Physician Assistant Priority Admission Pathway. Most of the PharmD graduates obtain their pharmacist license upon graduation and then go on to provide patient care in various practice settings, such as community pharmacies, hospitals, clinics, and industry. Many of our graduates choose to further their education with pharmacy residency or fellowship or pursue a graduate degree. They may specialize in certain disease states or practice in niche areas. And some of these students would like to deepen their education in physical assessment, as well as disease diagnosis, and expand on their scope of practice. So this priority admission pathway provides these PharmD students an opportunity to have priority consideration for admission into the highly competitive physician assistant program at the SIU School of Medicine. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Dr. Deemer to talk about having pharmacists in the PA program.
Good morning to all of you, and thank you for your time. We're excited about the collaboration with the SIU Pharmacy School because of their extensive and well-rounded education and knowledge of pharmaceuticals and pharmacology. The PharmD students would make excellent candidates to the PA school. This collaboration will allow those PharmD students who wish to enhance their diagnostic skills the opportunity to compete amongst each other for a limited number of reserved positions in the PA program instead of the general applicant pool that consists of around 1,400 applicants for the 40 seats where they might not otherwise get noticed and we might miss out on them. A PharmD PA combination will be extremely valuable to a healthcare organization, especially in our rural and underserved and health profession shortage areas that rely heavily on PAs as clinicians due to the physician shortage. As these organizations are now hiring PharmDs to enhance patient care, we feel the combination of these degrees will help increase access and quality of care, and we're excited about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctors Fawn and Dr. Deemer. I guess, does anyone have any questions? Hearing none, though, that's the end of the announcements. Trustee Salger.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the minutes for the meeting held December 7th, 2023?
So
So
moved.
I'll second it.
Madam Secretary, please perform the roll call vote. Hightower, Gilbert,
Yes.
Harris. Yes. Salger. Yes. Sharma.
Yes.
Motion passes. Next item is a recommendation for honorary degree at SIUE. Chancellor Minor, will you please introduce this item?
Thank you, Trustee Salger. Good morning. I am pleased to request a Board of Trustee approval to award an honorary Doctor of Humane Letters to Mr. Ed Grady at the May 2024 SIUE commencement. As an alumnus of SIUE School of Engineering, Mr. Grady spent a decade of his career as a leading chemical sales professional who then became a successful entrepreneur. Mr. Grady and his wife Karen have established 2 Grady Family Foundation entrepreneurship scholarship endowments that support entrepreneurship among engineering professionals. The Gradys have also made a significant contribution to support the Fowler Student Design Center expansion in the School of Engineering. He is a lifetime member of the SIUE Alumni Association, having been inducted into the SIUE Hall of Fame in 2011. And he's also a recipient of the SIUE Outstanding Alumnus Award from the School of Engineering. We're extremely proud to call Mr. Grady an alumnus of SIUE, and we extend our appreciation for his ongoing support for our educational mission. I thank you for your consideration of this recommendation that has been forwarded with the support from the President and myself from the SIUE Committee on Honorary Degrees and Distinguished Service Awards.
Is there a motion to approve Board Agenda Item J?
So moved.
Second. Madam Secretary, please perform the roll call vote. Hightower, Gilbert,
Yes.
Harris. Yes. Salger. Yes. Sharma.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes. The next item is the SIU System ADEI Lifetime Achievement Award name change. Dr. Caldwell, will you please introduce this item?
Board members, thank you for your consideration. In addition to the rationale you have before you, I just want to add to the narrative. Dr. McNeek was deliberate in instilling a sense of purpose, fostering resilience, and nurturing the unique potential of individuals entrusted to his care. Many careers and personal growth are attributed to the wisdom and mentorship provided by Dr. McNeek, including mine. His impact extended far beyond the walls of medical institutions. Dr. McNeek's legacy is a testament to the profound difference that one individual can make in the world. A doctor who saved lives, a mentor who shaped futures, a scholar who embraced knowledge, and a minister who ministered to the soul and collective well-being of individuals and communities. So the Diversity Advisory Council humbly, respectfully asks that the ADEI Lifetime Achievement Award be named in honor of a justice giant who spent a lifetime advocating for anti-racism, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. Is there a motion to approve board agenda item K?
Yeah, just a comment.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I just wanted to say I'm strongly supporting this. I think, I think Dr. Caldwell and I would both agree that the legacy of Dr. McNeese, we still see today, and all of the recognition we've received nationally and in a lot of different ways. And it really started with him. And so this is, I think, entirely appropriate and a good way to recognize what he's done for the SIU system.
Any other comments or questions? Okay,
I'll
is
just
there-
make a quick comment. In the few short years that I knew Dr. McNeese, I found him to be an amazing individual. And his commitment to not only Illinois University, the system, but his commitment to humanity was something that I very, very much admired. So I think this is a very appropriate move to name this in his honor. And when it comes down to voting, I get to vote on this. That's good. So, but you need a motion?
Yeah, is there a motion to approve
I'll-
board agenda item K?
I will make the motion to approve it.
I second, and this is an excellent idea.
Madam Secretary, please perform the roll call vote.
Hightower, Gilbert,
Yes.
Harris. Yes. Sauger,
Yes.
Sharma.
Yes,
All right, motion passes. Next item is the athletic report. Dr. Gupchup, will you please introduce this item?
Thank you, Trustee Salger. I would like to request our athletic departments represented by the athletic directors, Tim Leonard and Andrew Gavin at SIUC and SIUE respectively, to please present their student athlete academic reports. You will see that our student athletes, while doing an excellent job in their sporting areas, are also performing extremely well academically. Mr. Gavin, would you please present first, followed by Mr. Leonard? Thank you for everything that your athletic departments and student athletes bring to our system. Mr. Gavin, the floor is yours.
Thank you and good morning. As mentioned, my name is Andrew Gavin, and I proudly serve as the Director of Athletics here at SIU. I'm in my first year in my role here, so this is my first opportunity to participate in a Board of Trustees meeting. I appreciate the opportunity to be with you all and to share information about SIU athletics and the academic success of our student athletes. This week actually marks 1 year to the week that I was on campus interviewing with Dr. Miner for this position. Throughout this process, my transition to the AD chair, and throughout my first full year here at Edwardsville, the effort and academic success of our student athletes has been a constant highlight. While this is mostly due to the effort of our student athletes, I would be remiss if I did not also put the spotlight on our student athlete success staff. Deputy Athletic Director Jackie DeClue, Assistant Athletic Director Ashley Beaton-Simpson, and Academic Advisor Lindsay Schmidt all do an incredible job of providing intentional support, mentorship, and encouragement to our student athletes to be successful in and out of competition. SIU Athletics also has an environment where our coaches stress and prioritize the academic goals and priorities of our student athletes, and where our faculty and staff are great partners in this effort. There are numerous highlights regarding the academic success of our student athletes that I'm very proud to share with you this morning. The student athlete you see on the screen is senior Jordan Schifano, a member of our women's tennis program. In the fall of 2023, Jordan and the women's tennis program posted a team grade point average of 3.74, the fourth highest team GPA in the last 15 years in our department. Led by women's tennis, this fall marked the 35th consecutive semester where our student athletes combined to post a cumulative GPA of 3.0 or higher. At SIU, our student athletes are encouraged to pursue any college and major that fits with their goals, their priorities, regardless of conflict, rigor, or otherwise. Jordan is an example of that, as she is working towards graduating this May with a bachelor's degree in nursing. She is one of 25 current student athletes at SIU pursuing degrees in nursing or pre-med. Next slide. We are also extremely proud at SIU of our continued success with retention and graduation rate of our student athletes. There are 2 NCAA metrics that track these data points and display this success. Graduation success rate, or GSR, was developed by the NCAA to accurately reflect modern day patterns of student athlete enrollment and transfer. In 22-23, SIUE's GSR of 94% was tied for 16th nationally among public institutions in Division I, and number 2 among Division I public institutions in the state of Illinois. Since 2014, which was our first year eligible for GSR as a Division I institution, SIUE's GSR has been in the top 35 nationally and among the top 2 in Illinois in each of these years. Academic progress rate, also known as APR, is another tool used by the NCAA to track term-by-term enrollment and retention. In the latest NCAA APR release, 4 of our teams recorded a perfect rate of 1,000. Our teams combined for a multi-year average APR rate of 991, which is 7 points higher than the national average. In today's environment, where the transfer portal and NIL claim the majority of national headlines, we're proud of these numbers and this continued success of our student athletes. The student athlete shown on this slide is a prime example of our success in retention and graduation. Lamar Wright is a 5th-year starter on our men's basketball team who earned his bachelor's degree in applied communication studies last May. Lamar is currently pursuing his master's degree in the exercise science and coaching graduate program, and this past fall, he earned a 4.0 grade point average. He is one of 20 current student athletes here at SIU pursuing their master's degree, and of that group, 16 of them earned their bachelor's degree from SIU. Tonight, Lamar will play his 134th game in an SIU uniform, which is second in our school history only to his twin brother, Shamar, who will be playing in his record 145th game at SIU. Next slide. Shamar is also an SIU graduate already. This past year also brought several academic awards and accomplishments for individual student athletes. Featured on this slide is women's soccer student athlete Matea Diekma. An all-conference player from Grand Rapids, Michigan, Diekma earned her bachelor's degree in public health in just 3 years and is pursuing master's degrees in business administration and public health. This fall, among other honors, Matea was named a first-team academic All-American and was selected for the prestigious Ohio Valley Conference Scholar Athlete Award. Including Matea, 34 SIU student athletes earned the OVC Medal of Honor, awarded annually to student athletes who obtain the highest GPA in their conference and in their given sport. Additionally, from a team perspective, 7 of our programs were honored with their respective National Sport Associations Team Academic Awards. As you can hopefully see from this information and learning a little bit more about Jordan, Lamar, and Matea, academic excellence is part of our culture in SIU athletics, and it continues to be our expectation. We are extremely proud of our student athletes and their successes in and out of competition. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you this morning. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
I have a question. With the transfer portal like it is, how do you deal with the APR?
Well, I think you just need to be prepared to support your student athletes like we have always been, but obviously a higher percentage of them are coming with credit and understanding how many credits and where does that fit into progress towards degree, getting them on the right career path here, what credits transfer to their desired path here. I think we need to be more diligent than ever, understanding individually, not broadly, but individually, every single student athlete and specifically every single transfer, and how we can be ready from day one, whether that's early enrollment in summer school or what have you, to support their experience and understand how to get them on track for graduation.
I guess more specifically, my question is, you have a student athlete that transfers to another institution. How does that affect your APR? Does it hurt it, or as long as they go on and graduate there, you get credit for that?
Yes. It's
Yeah.
very important. We never want that to happen, obviously, but it's a part of our reality. I think it's really important that they leave here in good academic standing. It's really important that they leave here with their eligibility and hopefully prepared to succeed at their next institution. So
Okay.
they want to go on to graduation.
I just kind of want to say it's been really cool seeing SIU athletics kind of go into the community as well. Like seeing like watch parties out at restaurants, or I work at a restaurant typically this isn't my full-time gig. And seeing like the SIU like cougar on the side of like the Zwickle is like it's really cool getting to see it outside of just this institution. So I just wanted to comment that that's been really nice seeing that as a student.
Well, good morning to everybody. My name is Tim Leonard. I'm the athletics director at SIU Carbondale, and very thankful to be there and excited to talk to you all. In regards to the report that I'm going to give to you, waiting for the slides to come up. I do want to give a lot of credit to some of my staff, my former deputy AD, Molly Hudgens, who worked with all of our academic area and student athlete achievement, as well as our director of academic achievement area, Associate AD, Hillary Whitmore. Hillary works with our student athletes on a daily basis, and she really does an outstanding job of teaching her staff. So these numbers are highly reflective of her work, but most importantly, they're highly reflective of the student athletes who actually earn these numbers. So today, what I'm going to do is present this in the three main areas that we have to monitor. The NCAA recently came out, it's been 5-6 years now, with the values-based revenue distribution that's based on certain academic components that we need to monitor, one being APR, the other being your federal graduation rates, and the last being your GSR, graduation success rate. So next slide, please. First thing I thought I would talk about was our APR. So our overall for the department was a 967. This is an area that I think we can do much better in. Again, APR is a real-time metric. It's not perfect, but I think it's done a great job since we've implemented APR. It's been at least 20 years ago now. It's really allowed us to focus on academics and the right type of metrics, but it's not perfect, right? But the one thing I'll say is we have got to get to a 985 or higher every year, because that's the number that makes you eligible for the NCAA revenues-based distribution. The good news is we qualify in the other two areas, and we only need to qualify in one, so we're in good shape. If you look at our multi-year averages going down that far right column, we're in pretty good shape. You have to be at a 930 or higher to be eligible for postseason. This is on a 4-year average. However, we do have several that we got to keep an eye on, because while they have some good scores, you can see during the 22-23 reporting cycle, we had 5 teams with a perfect score. And if you look back beyond that, you'll see, like women's basketball, for example, 3 straight years of a perfect score, and then last year dropped down to an 889. So the next cycle we have that we report, one of those thousands is going to roll off, right? We have that 889 on here for the next 3 years. So we have to make sure that next season we put that on, it has to be much, much higher than that to keep our average up in that particular sport. We have a couple like that we have to really monitor and work with our coaches. But overall, we're in very good shape. Next slide, please. GPA, just some quick notes about our GPAs. You can see 11 of our 15 sports had a GPA, team GPA average of over a 3.0. Some of the highlights, the ones I really wanted to point out, the softball team, where was theirs? 3.735 was their team GPA. Think about that, 3.735 for the entire team. That is amazing. What those young ladies were able to accomplish, and still go on to have a lot of success, make it to the NCAAs, go in there and really battle with basically one pitcher who went into the NCAAs. We had a chance to watch that on TV last spring. It was incredible. Next slide. Okay, there you can see our cumulative GPAs for everyone in the department for about 430 student athletes that we have. That's pretty good. The overall GPA is just under a 3.2 for the entire department average. Actually, no, look at that. We're at 307. All of them. Okay, next slide. Graduation rates. So here I'm going to start with the federal graduation rate comparisons, and that's on the far right column there. For last year, the reporting cycle shows 69%. That's as high as it's been at SIU for the last several years. I'd like to see that number climb and get up to about 72%. We're at about, right now, we are 22% graduation rate higher than the overall student body. That number does qualify us for the NCAA values-based revenue distribution. So that's positive. And if you go down, you can see that all student athletes, our graduation rate jumps up to 81.3% of our student athletes are graduating. The difference between the first 4-year and then the all student athletes number is the top one is the one that we track for APR and everything else, because those are the kids that receive aid. The others are to include anybody that's not on aid, which a high percentage of our student athletes are not on it. So overall, they're graduating at 81.3%. Great. The GSR, move over here, this number was outstanding this year. Almost 96%, 95.9%. Okay, so that number obviously factors in transfers in, and as well as transfers out. But a 96% graduation success rate, that would also qualify us for the NCAA values-based revenue distribution. So it just tells you that the kids, when they come here, they're graduating, they're doing a good job with that. And very pleased to see how much higher than the averages that number is. Next slide. Last thing I thought I would go over was our student athlete demographics. I think you've all seen those numbers in the report. The one thing I do want to highlight that we have to pay attention to is that those in the top box there, the last 2 lines, you can see males as a percentage of the undergraduate students and females as a percentage of the undergraduate students. You can see that number has changed in the last couple of years to the point now where the first time in a number of years, the female undergraduate population at SIU Carbondale is now higher than the male population. Not by much. And the reason I point that out is that is a number we have to pay attention to for our Title IX metrics. Right now, we've been in compliance with Title IX, but we're going to have to pay attention to that and see how that affects us moving forward. So just something I want to point out to this group. Nothing major of that yet, but again, it's something that we need to monitor. So with that, concludes my report on our academics at SIU Carbondale. Any questions that I may display?
I have a observation and then a question. My observation is for both campuses. Obviously, the female athletes we have on both campuses are smarter than the male athletes.
Probably true with all students.
But my question is, if a student athlete transfers in from another school, they obviously have credits. They also have, does the GPA of that school transfer in, or does the GPA just determine what happens on SIU-C campus and SIU-E campus?
No, the GPA will transfer in on certain credits that come in. The good news is with the GPA is it's not really a mark that we monitor as much. It's really a byproduct of what we're doing, monitoring APR and graduation rates. Those are the metrics that obviously we have to follow. So the GPA one is one, it's just a break, basically. right? If that makes sense. So it's not something that we have a lot of reports on in our department to follow, but yes, their GPA will transfer over for certain credit hours. Obviously, they have to those credits have to transfer.
One question I have for you is in regards to your last point. What is the nature of the concern around our percentage of female undergraduate students to male compared to our student athlete numbers? What are the ramifications of changes to that?
So to be within compliance, you have to have the number of student athletes or participants has to be within 2 percentage points of the undergraduate enrollment. So again, it's just something we're gonna have to monitor. We do have, if things change, a couple of years, you have a grace period, you have to come up with a plan to show that. So it's just something we're gonna have to monitor and make sure our roster management is in place, right? Make sure that we fell football, look, we got on day one, you get 98 kids, that's it. They can expand to 105 after a couple of weeks of camp, but then we have an agreed upon number. And then certain other sports, we got to make sure the roster maintains it at another certain level.
So has there been any change? It doesn't look like there's much change really to our student athlete numbers. This is all driven by changes to campus-wide metrics, or have there been changes to sport rosters?
It's not major.
Okay.
Right? So we're still okay.
Sure.
That's why those numbers are flat. It's just something I point out because as our demographics are changing, there may be a time when we have to look at our sport lineup and what we're doing with that.
Sure.
We're in good shape now. So
Thank you.
I had a question about the single year graduation success rate. Specifically for women's soccer, there's no numbers listed from 2019 to 2022, and I was wondering why that was.
it's a new program.
Oh, is it? Okay, got it.
So yeah, those numbers, it's like the federal graduation rates, it's really, what is that, a 5-6 year out mark? So they wouldn't have had any numbers, we're just now.
Okay, got
starting
it.
to have, this was the 6-year program.
That's exciting. Got it. Awesome.
Any other questions? All right. Thank you all. Appreciate your time.
All right, thank you to both of our presenters. Any other business? Okay. If there's no other business before the Academic Matters Committee, this meeting is adjourned.
Thank you. The next meeting is a Finance Committee meeting. Mr. Tedrick, you may proceed.
Thank you. Finance Committee meeting is now in session. The first item on the agenda is approval of minutes. Do I have a motion to accept?
So move.
So second,
Madam Secretary, please perform the roll call vote.
Tedrick,
Yes?
Curtis,
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Sharma.
yes.
And the motion passes. Committee items 2 and 3 propose the approvals of purchase for the Carbondale campus. Chancellor Lane, will you introduce these items?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This matter seeks approval to enter into a contract to purchase the supply and delivery of natural gas for the Southern Illinois University Carbondale campus. SIU Carbondale purchases natural gas to provide heating and cooling to campus facilities. This contract will provide a competitively priced supply and delivery of natural gas. SIU Carbondale proposes to extend its agreement with the Interstate Municipal Gas Agency for another 3 years. IMGA has been awarded a competitive contract through the Illinois Public Higher Education Cooperative. Funding for these utilities will come from the Utilities Purchase Services account, with costs recovered from the utility expense SIUC and auxiliary areas. This matter is recommended for adoption by the Chancellor and Vice Chancellor of Administration and Finance at SIUC. For our next item, this matter seeks approval of purchase for the Ameren, Illinois substation facility rental. This approval will enter the university into a 10-year facility rental agreement with Ameren, Illinois for the use of maintenance of a transformer located at the Ameren substation. This new transformer will enable the university to provide additional capacity for current use and future expansion. This agreement will be funded by the Utilities Purchase Services account and will be billed by Ameren, Illinois at a monthly cost to the university at $12,560,040. This agreement will be a 10-year period. I respectfully submit these matters for your consideration.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? Any questions? Is there a motion to accept?
So move.
Second.
Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Tedrick,
Yes?
Curtis,
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Sharma.
yes,
And these items are approved. Committee item 4 proposes changes in faculty administrative payroll for the Office of the President and university-wide services. President Mahoney.
Yes, trustee Tedrick, you may wonder why this is on this part of the meeting. Usually we do this during the omnibus motion, but because the technology transfer specialist reports to Patino, who reports to me, it has to be approved separately. I will say that position is a replacement position at a lower level than we previously had, so it's actually a cost savings associated with that.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? Do I have a motion to accept?
So moved.
So second.
Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Tedrick,
Yes?
Curtis,
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Sharma.
yes,
And the motion passes. Committee item 5 proposes the approval of salary and appointment of the Executive Director of Marketing and Communication for the SIU system. President Mahoney.
Yes, and this is a new position, but I will say the resources to support this position are completely covered by the system budget and was done really with changing some positions, including the combination of the secretary to the board and the president's administrative assistant. So that's how we were able to put together enough money for something we really needed at the system level. We did not have this type of position before. We did a national search, thanks to the search committee that did a really wonderful job and made my life very difficult because we had a great group of candidates. But Katie Sheehan is the person who rose to the top. Ms. Sheehan has worked in Springfield for a while and had a similar position with HSHS, comes highly recommended, and I think will bring a lot to the university system.
Thank you. Any discussion? Do I have a motion to approve?
So
so
moved.
moved,
Do I have a second?
So second.
Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Tedrick,
Yes?
Curtis,
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Sharma.
yes,
And this item is approved by committee. If there's no further business, this meeting is adjourned.
Thank you, Mr. Tedrick. The next meeting is the Architectural and Design Committee meeting. In Chairman Simmons' absence today, I will appoint committee member Tedrick as Chair Pro Tem of the Architectural and Design Committee. Mr. Tedrick, you may proceed.
The first item on the agenda is approval of the minutes of the meeting held December 7th, 2023. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
So second.
Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Simmons, Curtis,
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Tedrick.
Yes. And the motion passes. Committee items 2 and 3 are awards of contract for the Carbondale campus. Chancellor Lane, will you speak to these?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. This matter seeks award of contract to replace the lakeside exterior storefront systems consisting of windows and doors at Stiegel and Bailey Halls at the Thompson Point residential halls. At the December 2nd, 2021 Board of Trustees meeting, the project to replace the existing lakeside exterior storefront systems consisting of windows and doors was approved. The construction will be completed during the summer of 2024 and will address the systems at Stiegel and Bailey Halls. The cost for this work is estimated at $750,000 and will be funded by HAFS Series 2022A bonds. The debt payment will be repaid with revenues generated by university housing. Bids for this project were received on January 3rd, 2024, and award of the contract is requested. The Chancellor, Vice Chancellor of Student Affairs, and Vice Chancellor for Administration and Finance at SIUC have recommended this matter to the President, and we respectfully submit that for approval. I'll go to the next item. Again, this is the Ward Thompson Point Heating System Piping Replacement for the Carbondale campus. It seeks to replace the existing piping for the heating systems at the Kellogg, Abbott, and Baldwin halls at the Thompson Point residential halls. At the December 2nd, 2021 Board of Trustees meeting, the project to replace the existing piping for the heating systems at Thompson Point was approved. The construction will be completed during the summer of 2024 and will address the systems at Kellogg, Abbott, Baldwin halls. The cost for this work is estimated at $950,000 and will be funded by HAFS Series 2022A bonds. The debt payment will be repaid with revenues generated by university housing. Bids for this project were received on January 3rd, 2024, and award of the contract is requested. I respectfully submit these matters for your consideration.
Is there any discussion? Do I have a motion to approve?
So move.
Second.
Madam Secretary?
Simmons, Curtis,
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Tedrick.
Yes, and the motion is approved. The item is approved. Committee item 4 is an approval of permanent easement for the Edwardsville campus. Dr. Bill, will you speak to this item?
Good morning, thank you. You can imagine, I'm home with my family on Christmas Day. We have beautiful weather this year, so I'm not worried about buildings freezing. And in the middle of the afternoon, I get a call, and we have a swimming pool in the basement of building 263 on the campus. A water heater failed. It was scheduled for deferred maintenance, but we'll get to it in time. One water line main opened up and filled the basement 4 feet deep, destroying all of the electrical systems, all of the clinic systems in the building. And to give you an idea, this is a clinical building that has 100 clinical chairs in it that are in use all the time for servicing citizens in this area, but also training our students on dental procedures. And that we have been working 24 hours a day in that building since Christmas Day. The sump pumps were overrun, flooded the building. We lost power to that building and also next door because the building power system for next door ran through the power panel in the basement of the building 263. So building 280 has also been down. I would be remiss if I did not recognize the individuals that have been working on this project since Christmas Day. Our trades and crafts, the electricians, plumbers, carpenters, and laborers have been working diligently to restore systems in the building. The dental school employees have been working diligently to order new equipment to get ready for full operations in the building. At this time, the buildings, both of them, are on temporary power. Building 263 is fully conditioned space now with the heat the building to prevent other issues, and 1/3 of the clinic will be used very soon to begin operations there. In order to complete this project, we need to put new power transformers outside. And we have worked closely with Ameren through contacts in electrician's office and also in administration. And we have found generators or transformers for both buildings, and we need to replace them. Initially, we thought we would set a new transformer for building 263, and we found out that we didn't have an easement for the current transformer that's been there for, we believe, 35 years. So we're asking for an easement for that, which was already there, and we need a new easement because we're going to separate the power system for building 280. So this request is for a permanent easement to Ameren, Illinois, for a new transformer for building 280 and a replacement transformer at a different power level for building 263. And we hope in the next 2 weeks to get those in place and begin the hookup of power. Building 280 should be back online in about 3 weeks fully with no more problems. And then we'll focus all our effort on the clinic to try to get that online. So thank you. If there's no questions, Chancellor Minder and I recommend this for approval.
Any discussion? Do I have a motion to approve?
So move.
Second.
Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Simmons, Curtis,
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Tedrick.
Yes. And the motion passes. The last item is committee item 5 is an information report regarding the Wildlife Habitat Education Center at Touch of Nature on the Carbondale campus. Vice Chancellor Kupek, will you?
Thank you. Tedrick, my teeth are hurting after that last report. Okay. We've got an information item for you today. Very quickly, Paul, I think we've got 3 slides.
Do we or do we not? Yes. We do. Thank you. Thank you. Next slide. We came here a couple of years ago, with this as, for information, new, wildlife habitat center. It also serve as the welcome center for the 3,000-acre Touch of Nature part of our campus. We've done some, changes on the building. So we come back to you today to present. Next slide. We've taken out the archery range. This is the plans right now for your approval. It remains the Wildlife Habitat Education Center. We've secured the $3 million gift from the donor, who will provide an additional $2 million endowment. So Trustee Tedrick, just for information, we plan to come back in the April meeting with the full plans as we work with our team at Facilities, Energy and Management. Thank you.
Thank you. Any discussion or questions? Being none, if there's no other business, the Architecture and Design Committee is adjourned.
Thank you, Mr. Tedrick. I move that we take a 15-minute recess before the full board meeting begins at a little bit after 10 o'clock. Stand in recess.
Question. No, I think the names is the same. Let me ask Lauren.
Depends on, and it depends on how long our chancellor's report is.
Oh, yeah.
That kind of drags it out sometimes.
Third tree on the
The
right.
third tree on the right. Oh, my. There's stop that recording quickly.
Oh.
We're going to get started in 5 minutes, so you can find your seats. The full board meeting is now reconvened. The next item of business is approval of the minutes of the meetings of the board held December 6th and 7th, 2023. Is there a motion to approve these minutes?
So moved.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
So second.
It's been seconded. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Curtis,
Yes.
Gilbert,
Yes.
Harris,
Yes.
Hightower, Ludwig,
Yes.
Sauger, yes, Sharma,
Yes.
Simmons, Tedrick.
Yes.
The minutes are approved. Are there any trustee reports? The next is for the committee reports. I'll report that the executive committee has not met in between board meetings. At regular board meetings, 30 minutes will be reserved to receive comments or questions from members of the public and employees of the university. Speakers' comments or questions should not exceed 5 minutes. Persons wishing to speak shall contact the executive secretary of the board. The executive secretary of the board shall maintain a roster of those seeking to speak and shall call them in the order. Madam Secretary, do we have any speakers?
We have 3 today. First, I have Tim Dre.
Mr. Dre.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of trustees of the university, and a special shout out to Mr. Curtis from Springfield. Well, thank you. I joined my name is Tim Dre, president of the Illinois AFL-CIO, a federation of unions in Illinois that represents 750,000 union members from Antioch to Cairo to Quincy to Danville, and all kinds of occupations, carpenters, electricians, grocery store workers. It goes on and on and on who we represent. These people, we all have one core principle, and that is to work with dignity and respect. We negotiate contracts up and down this state. I couldn't tell you, we have 1,500 affiliates. I can't tell you how many contracts, collective bargaining agreements that would be, but it would be very, very numerous. To my knowledge, there is not one collective bargaining agreement in Illinois, other than this one, that's gone 588 days without resolution. That is entirely too long. Union members, we just want to remind the administration and employers all over the state that in the last election, 2.2 million voters went to the polls and supported workers' rights in the election. The people of Illinois believe in workers' rights, and we hope that the board will do the same thing and respect the voters of Illinois to get a fair contract. This is more than a union and management struggle. This is a struggle for nearly every person who actually leaves from work and kisses their loved one goodbye in the morning. This is a struggle for everybody who draws a paycheck in this state. Again, it's all about dignity and respect of the job. We want to be valued. We want to be recognized for what we do to make this state and this university a great place to live and work. So I'm here today to tell the administration, you cannot succeed in teaching the leaders of tomorrow by stepping on the backs of the workers that you absolutely employ at this university. You cannot do it. They're going to stand up. They're going to look at you in the face and they're going to say, we're tired of having to decide between milk or rent. We're tired of disrespect. We are tired of being viewed as expendable. We are tired of excuses and delays. We want a fair contract now. I want to move this university forward together. With that, thank you very much. I appreciate the time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dre. Next speaker.
Scott Luchtefeld.
Morning. My name is Scott Luchtfeld. I'm president of the Southwest Illinois Central Labor Council, AFL-CIO. In that capacity, I represent many of the area residents who are members of these bargaining units. I'm here on behalf of our Greater Metro Area Labor Councils, as well as the Madison County Federation of Labor and the Southwest Illinois Building Trades Council. Unfortunately, the Building Trades Council president cannot be here due to a prior commitment. There was a time in this community when a non-teaching job at the university was looked upon as a solid prospect. Maybe not the highest paid job, but one where employees could count on a fair treatment and fair wages. Now the only stories we hear are chronic understaffing, wages at or near minimum wage, and a job market with that isn't enough to even bring people to an interview, much less gainfully employment. Single moms doing work that used to take 4 university support staff and holding down 2 or 3 outside jobs besides to make ends meet. Over the last several months, a couple of years, an environment where an administration is outright hostile when they bother to pay any attention to their frontline workers at all. We are here to broaden to the broader labor community to remind this institution and its leaders who you actually work for. It's not just the students who are but also our children and family members and neighbors. It is the Illinois taxpayer and is the community and state in which this institution resides. An obligation you are failing to meet. When you fail to set and uphold labor agreements between the parties, an obligation which will never be met while the university offers nothing but delays and substandard wages for the work they perform. Your reputation matters. That historic word on the street about SIU has now become, can you believe those pro workers have gone 3 years without a raise? How is a job at the university only worth minimum wage? These workers don't even make what they make in a similar state job. I hear Southwestern Illinois Community College pays better than SIU. And perhaps most troubling, I used to believe in SIU, but this situation makes me question that. Your own staff senate has questioned the motives and resolve of this administration, encouraging you to resolve this and all outstanding labor contracts by February 29th. The time is short. In fact, to quote the Chancellor's rebranding initiative, the time is now for a fair contract for the employees who make SIU happen. I'd further like to say ensuring a fair and settled contract for the respective unions at SIUE is essential to safeguarding the rights and livelihood of workers, promoting stability in the workforce, and maintaining a healthy collaboration between employers and employees. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lutzberg. Next speaker.
B. Dean Webb.
Oh, you spoke on his behalf? Okay.
That concludes our speakers.
That concludes our speakers, and I will say that we want a resolution also. And I think there's another mediation session in a couple of weeks, and we hope there's some progress there. But thank you, and we hear you. Okay.
And if I may add, as a student trustee, as a student who pays tuition, I feel too, it has been too long that the workers have gone without a contract, and it's been far, far too long since they've had a fair contract. The unprecedented economic times that our workers in this state face requires unprecedented growth in wages and a fair contract for everyone here. I don't want to be at a university where I have to look at the people who serve me and serve my institution and know that they cannot afford what they need to survive and provide for their families, and only a thriving wage will solve that for our union workers here on campus. So I very much hope that we can come to a resolution that is advantageous to our workers, that expands their ability to provide for themselves and to continue serving our institution. We can't keep having turnover. We can't have people fleeing to higher paying jobs because the people who are here care about serving SIU. Whatever campus, whatever position, whatever they do to help our university, the reason that all of you are here today is because you care to be here. That's why you fight, and I appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay, our next item of business is Executive Officer's Report. President Mahoney, will you present your report for the SIU system?
Yeah. I'm going to first call up Vice President Caldwell, who will present some of the activities on ADEI and recognize and present Vice Chancellor Harris. So.
I have two updates. First, I would like to share that the SIU system has now received $300,000 from the Lumen Foundation to advance student success on our campuses. Funding will be used to improve VFW rates, enhance student belonging, and provide professional development opportunities focused on inclusive pedagogy, collaborative learning, and student empowerment. And I also think it's important to know that we're going to gather as a system within the next month to do a SIU system retention conference with the Lumen Foundation. The next thing that also I'm delighted to share is that Dr. Mahoney and I was recently interviewed by CNN to really speak to the anti-DI legislation that is happening across the country. For those of you who may not be familiar, anti-DI legislation has been introduced in about 36 states now, and they've been passed in 14 states. So it's important that we actually share a counter narrative to really talk.
Are there any questions for Dr. Harris?
Other than to say, I think it's wonderful what you're doing, and it's definitely going to make a difference.
I'll say that it's a team effort, and so kudos to SOAR and all of the folks across campus who are partnering in this endeavor. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Harris, and thank you, everybody. I see some of them here who are very much involved with this program. I will say Dr. Caldwell and I highlighted this a lot during our CNN interview, but we cannot control what they do and don't take as part of the interview. So if they don't mention it, it wasn't because we didn't try. I will also say, part of the reason we were identified for the interview was because of the conversations of understanding that we've been doing. Earlier, I mentioned Dr. McNeese, and really the first conversation of understanding started with Dr. McNeese, and so I consider that interview very much a part of his legacy. And I also wanted to note that the next one is on the 26th of February, and we'll feature our students talking about a variety of issues. Last thing I want to talk about just briefly is in the past, we've discussed the SIU system online. We've now seen an increase in courses and enrollment this semester from even last semester. And if you add in the honors course that I teach with Dr. Knapp, that includes opportunities for students to take classes, together from both campuses. We now have about 40 or 50 students already who are taking it, and I think that's just a small start to what we can potentially do. One of the things that's, I think, important is exploring degree and certificate pathways with course sharing, which we are doing right now. And just wanted to mention that hospitality management in the Carbondale campus and public relations on the Edwardsville campus are currently working on one together. So again, complimentary to them and the work that they're doing to expand those opportunities for students. So that is my report.
Thank you, President Mahoney. Chancellor Minor, please bring the report for Edwardsville.
Thank you, Chair Gilbert. I have a very brief report this morning, but I'd like to start my report with a reminder of one of the things that I think is really beautiful about institutions of higher learning. I continue to argue that commencement is one of the most important things we do here at SIUE. On December 15th and 16th, I had the privilege to confer degrees upon nearly 1,600 SIUE graduates. We take great pride, as you can see, in celebrating those who cross the stage, not only in May, but also December. For those of us who participate in several commencement ceremonies a year, it's possible to forget that this is a once in a lifetime opportunity or moment for many of those students and families, a dream come true for some, social and economic mobility for others. And as an institution, we have the wonderful privilege of facilitating this important marker in their lives. Some of the video footage, obviously, that you can see here provides just a glimpse of the meaningfulness of earning a college degree. The SIUE team endeavors to make this occasion possible for even more students and families. During the most recent ceremony, I was particularly moved by the accomplishments of our student speakers. They validated the quality of an SIUE degree, and I'm confident that these students will represent SIUE well across the state of Illinois and beyond. Next slide. SIUE is also making bold moves to meet students where they are. as evident by the recent recipients of alternative degree credential in food safety and quality assurance at the nearby Tyson Foods facility. Certainly, a growing part of our enrollment management strategy must be to more effectively provide opportunities for less traditional students and removing some of the barriers for individuals interested in returning or just upskilling without the disruption to their ability to work. Pictured on the screen is another graduation ceremony, only this one was held at Tyson Foods in Caseyville, Illinois. The location recently expanded the 170,000 square foot facility. This recent $180 million expansion allowed Tyson to grow the staff at this location by more than 50%, many of whom needed additional training as the jobs, the technology, and the industry continues to evolve. SIUE's online services and educational outreach department established working relationships with the plant managers and co-created an SIUE credential for employees. The newly hired food safety and quality assurance general manager at Tyson saw the benefits and registered her employees to skill up her team. This 2-month program completed on site at Tyson. And I believe the students were here once over that 2-month period, awarded credentials to those who completed the course hours on site in their work environment, in their facility, in their laboratories. At the graduation ceremony that Tyson planned, the SIU team was able to participate, as you see here in the image. I'm told that the person receiving the certificate in this photo, Edie Smith, a senior hazard analysis supervisor who helped organize the logistics for the food safety credential, actually decided to take it herself. Incidentally, of the 5 digital badges earned at Tyson, the introduction to microbiology was customized to meet the specific needs for this Tyson facility. This is a different version of accessibility and just one demonstration of how alternative credentials are becoming increasingly critical for meeting workforce needs in the 21st century. SIUE now has 30 alternative digital credentials, and we're now developing even more in collaboration with our industry partners. Next slide. I want to highlight here just briefly Dr. Tandra Taylor, who is assistant professor in history and interim director of the Institute for Community Justice and Racial Equity at the Southwestern Illinois Justice and Workforce Development Center in Belleville. In December, Dr. Taylor was appointed to the Illinois Flag Commission by Illinois Senator Don Harmon. This commission is the result of a bipartisan piece of legislation that was signed by the governor to explore the development of a newly designed state flag. The flag has not been redesigned since its adoption in 1915. The proposed changes are designed to encourage civic engagement and to bring attention to new designs that could potentially have greater historical or cultural significance. Dr. Taylor's expertise as a historian and her dedication to public humanities made her an outstanding candidate for this commission. Dr. Taylor is an East St. Louis resident who says she is fascinated by American culture and symbolism. We're obviously pleased to have representation on this commission, but also excited about playing a role in the possible redesign of such an important symbol. Next slide. About 2 weeks ago, the university welcomed Connie Collins, who I see seated here. Could you just wave, Connie, so that everybody knows who you are? Thank you. We welcome Connie as the new Vice Chancellor for University Advancement and CEO of the SIUE Foundation. Her comprehensive advancement expertise, particularly with major gifts and the execution of large campaigns, will strengthen our ability to elevate alumni and donor relations. Connie has more than 25 years of experience in nonprofit leadership and fundraising. She has led fundraising campaigns and is the recipient of 2 National Circle of Excellence in Fundraising Awards from the Council for Advancement and Support for Education. She has roots in the region. When you get to talk to her, you'll discover what they are. and she has certainly hit the ground running. I hope you will welcome her warmly. Next slide. Next slide. I'm humbled by our latest creative endeavor, led by students and staff. The expansion of our campus food pantry, known as Cougar Cupboard, now has new installations known as mini cupboards or mini Cougar cupboards. We began with 3 mini cupboards, and we have more on the way. The Morris University Center Board and student government installed the mobile or mini cupboards across campus. I want to mention that the funding was made possible by the Meridian Society, which is an auxiliary organization of the SIUE Foundation. Along with funding, SIUE students volunteered to build these pantries in time for campus communities' return from the fall break. They recognize the Thanksgiving holiday as a period of abundance for many, and also a time of need and scarcity for some. These mini cupboards extend food and hygiene accessibility for members in our community beyond the operating hours of the main pantry. Because there was so much interest across our campus community, we now have a small campaign calling on departments and student organizations to sponsor mini cupboards to ensure that these pantries have full shelves all year round. By providing, I want to mention this, providing unbiased food access on campus, SIUE challenges hunger, insecurity, and elevates the existing availability of basic needs for our students. Next slide. One of our faculty leaders in our School of Dental Medicine has taken great strides to equip women entering the dentistry profession with top leadership skills. Dr. Natalia Garcia chairs the Department of Applied Dental Medicine. She and 2 of her colleagues from the University of Minnesota School of Dental Medicine and the University of the Pacific Dental School created curriculum for a workshop entitled Empowering Women in Oral Health for Success in the Workplace. This 4-hour online session hosted by the SIU School of Dental Medicine and participating university connects women at the beginning of their dental careers. Participants from across the nation joined in the first workshop that was held on January the 13th. Some of the topics which Dr. Garcia goes in depth focus on business intelligence, navigating collaborations, winning at negotiations, and showing vulnerability in the workplace. Also mentoring opportunities and the idea of work-life balance. Dr. Garcia and her team took the bold step of launching this workshop with facilitators who also represent the financial industry, data science, and manufacturing. By doing this, the workshop participants have a chance now to engage with leaders across various industries, and with women now representing 51% of dental students last year. Opportunities like these led by Dr. Garcia will help prepare them and others nationwide for success. Next slide, please.
Past 20 years, but it's risen like 500%. That's under Illinois University, Edwardsville. Well, that's probably going to be our first setback. The financial aid office is preparing for a flurry of phone calls. And compared to launching new tuition assistance program designed to save eligible families tens of thousands of dollars. Cost of living is increasing, and we need to excel. Shout out to the The school is offering the SIU commitment, granting eligible students free tuition and fees if their annual cost was $63,000 or less. Now, that threshold has been increased to $113,000. And for the first time, it's being expanded for good students in the St. Louis metro. I come from a big family. I had 6 siblings, so it's a lot that I am 13 much. See, I'm a boy is a youth studying nursing. Tuition fees are covered provide various scholarships. She also qualifies for the SIU committee. She'll be nearly debt free when she graduates in 2 years. Senior Blake Prince is in a similar situation. He says the school's affordability plus scholarships makes her one less thing to worry about when graduation looms. So hopefully she graduates in a master's degree in 5 years. For many students, not having to worry about expenses like tuition leaves more time for study and other activities on campus.
It allows me to focus on a lot of the things that I enjoy, not just, 35 at this size.
Did they say why now? So they say this meeting, actually, everything is getting more expensive, cost of living, valuations are increasing, and really when you look at those lower and middle income families, it's a restaurant. Like the workers here.
Yep. Yeah.
Accessible for everyone.
It's high schoolers that are bearing this out, but especially the parents are hopefully making this happen somewhere here.
Last but not least, I just wanted to highlight the news coverage for the recently announced SIU Go and the adjustment to the SIU commitment program, making college more affordable for a greater number of families in the region. This has been an essential tool for keeping a college within reach for so many families and ensuring that SIU remains both accessible and affordable for families. That concludes my report.
Minor. Please, let's hold the comments. Chancellor Elaine, will you please present the report for Carbondale?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I tell you what, this semester is off and running, and want to thank our faculty and our staff and our students, our alums, everyone in Saluki Nation has been really pulling together, doing a great job. If we can go to the next slide. This is what we're excited about. In the fall semester, overall, our enrollment was up 2.3%. That took a lot of work with all the folks that rallied around enrollment. We started that about three and a half years ago. That was a commitment we all said we would bring to SIU Carbondale, and we've been able to do that. In the spring, we really about a year ago started focusing on the spring semester enrollment. And as you can see, our spring enrollment's up 4%. Very excited about that. New first time in college students, 6.8%. Transfer students, a lot of that's because of the efforts in Saluki Step Ahead and some of the outreach to our local community colleges. We've had a really good relationship with those institutions. Made transfer a lot more seamless, where those hours are being applied towards the degree and not just a transcript. So thanks to our provost, Cheryl Tucker's back there. I know she's working with our deans in that effort. They're doing a great job in that particular category. Our new graduate and professional students, we hired Dr. Costas Satsoulis a couple of years ago, actually about a year and maybe a couple of months. I may be giving him too long, Jeff. We'll have to check how long he's been here. But he's hit the ground running, and as you can see, our enrollment in the graduate and professional categories up 8.7%. That's something that we wanted to make sure was a focus. I'll go to undergraduate students or fully online students. We think that's going to be a big piece for us is how do we connect with our non-traditional students, those students who may not be able to come to Carbondale and that can take our classes anywhere in the world. So that's a big piece we're going to focus on. What we've been doing over the this last week, and boy, we've had a whirlwind of activities on campus, but we have been personally going out and awarding our Chancellor Scholarship. That's the highest level of scholarship on our campus. That's $104,000 of a scholarship. And when you see the clip and you see some of the pictures that we're going to show you here, it brings parents and grandparents and other legacy Salukis that come out to these high schools with us. It brings them to tears. So I want to show the video here now.
That's why adding the says something that says the scholarship is needed. Now, you're gonna think on being ready for the next big step.
Thank you. Next slide. What you probably couldn't hear in that video were two things that we listen for, right, Jeff Harmon? We want our students to stay close to home. We don't want them leaving the region. So it's a heavy focus on red carpeting the region. We've been able to do that over the last couple of years. We're seeing the results. And the other piece was the legacy piece. That was the mother who was excited about keeping her daughter at home. I know many of you probably want your kids to get out of your house and get away, but this is probably a good thing to keep them home for a couple of years. These are shots that we have from our staff. This is all hands on deck. So everyone you see in there, that's our team. And we take them out to these high schools. They look forward to seeing us there. And they want more money every year. They say, how much more money can you give us? So we're always trying to find more money for those students. Next slide. You heard Chancellor Minor mention this, and I won't read to you what's happening here. This is what worries all of us, right? It's some of this is out of our control, but I'll go to the next slide because I want to show you our efforts that we put in place, and this is really coming directly from our staff. So I have to thank Elise Weller and Linda Williams and those folks that do a great job in the financial aid office. They've held financial aid nights. They've been out to different schools. They've made themselves available to a number of parents and their families to really lower some of those anxiety levels that they have out there as they deal with trying to make sure their financial aid is in place. So, we're going to continue to do that and make sure students know we're here to support them every step of the way. Next slide. This is exciting times for us because it's part of our Saluki takeover. We started this a couple of years ago in partnership with our foundation. Was an opportunity for us to go out into various parts of not only the state of Illinois, but out of the state where we have a lot of Salukis, a lot of alums and potential donors that are out there. At these particular events, you'll notice the schedule on the right-hand side. We take a lot of strategic effort in meeting with partners from high schools, community colleges in those areas. Our next event is next week in Nashville. Nashville is a very thriving and growing, vibrant city, about 2 hours and 48 minutes from Carbondale, not very far. We think we have an opportunity to really get inside of Nashville and recruit students. We got a lot of Salukis in Nashville that we realize. So looking forward to interacting and engaging with those individuals in Nashville next week. Next slide. This is our Saluki takeover in Florida. A lot of Salukis in Florida. As you know, they like to leave the cold of Illinois and go south or go southeast to Florida. So we get very good turnouts at all of our receptions. Everything that we put together there is really good. So it again is an opportunity for us to connect with folks who really support the university. Next slide. Our Saluki takeover is coming in a couple of weeks to St. Louis. We do this in conjunction with Arch Madness, which is the Missouri Valley Conference basketball tournament. This is a really big event for us because obviously it's still in our backyard, and we've got a lot of Salukis that are not only on this side of the river, but also over in St. Louis. So really like to love engaging those individuals and creating more partnerships not too far away from campus. And so that will happen here shortly, March 6th. Next slide. This is our 17 county takeover. This is really the capstone piece to the takeover tours. The idea is that when students make their commitments in May, we really have an idea, or we have an opportunity leading up to that commitment to really get out and start talking to some of those individuals in our particular counties. They love seeing us show up. They really love finding out about all the different ways that we can provide access to SIU Carbondale, and we're right there front and center. I always like to tell them that, you know, it's not too many presidents or chancellors that are going to come from the outside of our region to come in and talk to you personally. So that should be our high touch advantage as we're recruiting our students locally. So that's the strategy we've been using, and it's paying off for us. Next slide. This is the capstone piece with put a lid on it. Just like you see the student athletes who have those national signing days and they've got 4 or 5 hats on the table. The idea is this is for non-student athletes. This is for our students that are thinking about where they're going to college, and give them a little bit of Saluki swag and as they make their decision. One of the things we did this year is to take the pain out of it. We did automatic admissions for students in our region that are at a 2.75 to really make that process a lot more seamless. And really, you know, put the decision really in their hands a lot earlier. So that seems to be working for us. We'll have a capstone event at Walker's Bluff, where we'll invite all of the students who have committed to SIU Carbondale. We'll bring their superintendents and their principals and their family members. Walker's Bluff, brand new a casino that's out there, a nice room that will have this event that will happen. I think May 4th is our date, if I'm not mistaken. So that's something we're really excited about. Next slide. Our Saluki Ball is in Chicago again this year. We had the inaugural event last year. I had over 600 people at that event. It was a great event. A lot of alums in the Chicago area. Looking forward to that. The entertainment this year is In Vogue. I don't know if anybody knows about In Vogue. I'm sure there are a few folks out here that you'll think, yeah, okay. Few folks know about In Vogue, so they'll actually be there, and we'll have that to Sheraton Grand Chicago. So thanks to Matt Kupek and the foundation board. They do a tremendous job there for that particular gala. We have a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun last year. Next slide. Black History Month. A lot of activities that are taking place. Lots of activities. We've got a calendar of events on our web. We look forward to having our students interact and participate in these events. And I always like to say it's more than just a month of February. You know, we need to celebrate a lot more than just February. And we have to remind ourselves sometimes that that's all year round, with a number of different, whether it's Hispanic, Latinx, Asian, American, you name it. We've got events that happen in these months, but we like to celebrate all year long. So next slide. Our student here, our advertising, we've got a really top honor. And Jeff Harmon, I know you know about this. You've been putting this all over the place, but this is a big deal for our student and being recognized in a national way by the American Advertising Federation as one of the organization's 50 most promising multicultural students for 2024. That's Dr. Caldwell, that's pretty big, right? To be honored like that at such a young age. So that tells you the work that is happening there. Montserrat is a senior majoring in journalism with specialization in advertising. So I want to say hats off to her and the work that she has been doing and how she's representing the university. Next slide. This is what we're really excited about. If you remember back in November of 2023, a couple of months ago, there have been some changes in the modifications as it relates to Carnegie classifications. This is in our Imagine SIU C strategic plan. We talk about becoming an R1 university. This is big for the university. Those changes basically amount to $50 million in research expenditures and offering over 70 doctorates. Right now, we're at about 58 million, and we're already sitting at about close to about 100, according to our Vice Chancellor for Research. So by 2025, we fully expect to hit that R1 status for our institution. That would be phenomenal. So there's a lot of work that still needs to be done. We have a campus committee of faculty and staff and others that are really looking at what that's going to mean for us and how we really get that out there and start talking about the advantages again of staying home and having a research R1 university right in your backyard. So that's something that we're very excited about going forward. A lot of work that's happening there. Next slide. If you're coming to Carbondale, you better come early, and it's going to take you a long time to get home. I'm just telling you now. The total eclipse, we're very excited about this. There's a lot of planning that's underway. We get visitors from all over the country that come to see this in Saluki Stadium. It's a great piece to market the institution. We have folks that are already, booking hotels or booking campsites. This is a big deal. And we are excited. As you can see, 100,000 plus visitors to the region. It's an economic impact that will happen in our region. Several visitors, as we mentioned, a way to showcase the university. National eyes will be on this. International eyes will be on this as well. So we're going to take full advantage of it. But we welcome all of you to come to Carbondale and see this. Jeff, what's the date? Is it April 8th? April 8th. April 8th is the date. I don't think we had it on here. So looking forward to that. Look forward to seeing everyone there. Next slide. We'll skip next. Sorry, Jeff. I know that's the slide you want to get in on media. I want to share with you as we end this, it's not every day a chancellor has an opportunity for donors in a span of a couple of months to have the kinds of donations that we've had to the university. It started with Roger and Sally Tedrick with donating $6 million to the Welcome Center, which is going to be the front door of the institution. Thank you, Trustee Tedrick, for that. It's just an amazing piece to help springboard and, again, keep those students locally and attract other students from outside. And then just this, I guess, President Mahoney, God, I'm forgetting my days. Was that Monday? Monday,
yes.
just on Monday. And, a $10 million gift from Trustee Simmons and Jane. And it's just a phenomenal piece for our law school. I want to show you a video of what took place on our campus a few days ago. Hopefully. All right. Thank you. I tell you what, if you could hear Trustee Simmons' story and his journey on how he got to where he is today, it's remarkable. I told him he ought to write a book. I want to thank our chairman who was there, President Mahoney, Matt Kupek, Dean Davidson, all of the individuals that made this possible for our institution. Really excited about what's happening. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Chancellor Lane. Dean Cruz, report for the medical school.
Thank you very much. There's the slides. You can go right on to the next slide if you would. That's good. I think most of you know that this year the School of Medicine was awarded the State of Illinois Behavioral Health Workforce Center. That center has got off to a running start under the leadership of Dr. Kari Wolf, our chair of psychiatry, and Lori Williams, our associate provost for external relations, and we're getting some immediate benefits from that. So from the Department of Human Resources, a plan, the first of many to come, I would say, a plan to increase the training of behavioral health professionals, both students and faculty members in our organizations has come forward and is now a reality. Number one on this slide that you see got mid-year funding and has already started. The next three have funding for next fiscal year, and the three below that are to come. But just in brief, the first one will add 2 psychiatry residents per year, and since their training is 4 years, that will be 8 more psychiatrists in training, and add 2 more psychiatry faculty members to receive some of their training and the education at state-operated psychiatric hospitals. Now, not only do they get some of their training there, but they will also practice. They'll bring care immediately, you know, to the people of the region. And then obviously the long-term benefit is that they'll be trained. So those several sites, you know, will start with Packard in Springfield, but then Choate in Southern Illinois, then Alton, and then Elgin, Illinois. And so I think, you know, all of the great work that's been done at Choate by those at the Behavioral Health Workforce Center to bring a plan that will benefit those people who receive care there, and will benefit the state of Illinois and also benefit the city of Anna. After that, you see we'll train more nurse practitioner and PA students and add another faculty member. Then in Carbondale, there'll be a big expansion of the clinical psychology program to train PhD psychologists, counseling psychologists for the area. At the master's level, there will be clinical experiences now for 12 to 18 new licensed clinical social worker students per year in Carbondale. And then coming a year after that, a new forensic psychiatry fellowship, which includes fellows who were one step past the residents in training, and 2 more faculty members in Springfield. Funding for our child psychiatry fellowship, which will expand it by a couple of fellows per year. And then also focus on a clinical psychiatric nursing program expansion in Carbondale. Again, more to come, but that is a huge step in the first year of the Behavioral Health Workforce Center and will benefit this mostly rural region for sure. So next slide. And also as a byproduct, I would say, of the Behavioral Health Workforce Center, that legislation that occurred that created it also had other offices that came along. One of them is the Office of Certification Strategies, and it is up and running. And the first set of professionals that it will certify is doulas. Now, the Office of Certification Strategies is important because standardized training, standardized certification is needed actually to actually attract a greater workforce and to have a better impact of care. So I think most of you know, doulas are trained professionals who provide emotional, physical, informational support to mothers before, during, and after childbirth, but most focus on labor and a lot of positive benefits that you see in the next statement. Dr. Chris Smyer is going to be the medical director of that program, and it is now functional and up and running, and there'll be more to come. Next slide, please. Dr. Wendy Wills Elamine, our Associate Dean for Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion, was the keynote speaker at the 49th Annual Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial Breakfast on his holiday. It's sponsored by Springfield Frontiers International. Previous speakers, as you see on this slide, it's pretty great set of speakers: Martin Luther King III, Rosa Parks, and the Honorable Alan Page. Dr. Elamine gave an inspirational and emotional oration from her heart that touched the hearts of all 750 people in attendance. It was quite amazing, as a matter of fact. So our thanks to Dr. Elamine. Next one. And now I'll just have to say, I don't know if we've got a spirit chairman or chairperson, I should say, at the School of Medicine. I guess we don't. I guess that's me, as a matter of fact. But we've had some holiday events that show that on the spirit meter, the needle is going up, as a matter of fact. A tradition at the School of Medicine has been something called Jingle Mingle, which we hold every other year. The last time we did it was 2018, and then the pandemic put us on hold for a while. So we restarted it this year and had the biggest Jingle Mingle we ever had. So various offices, departments, and divisions can put together a booth with food. We do this on 2 floors at the medical center. They compete for a prize with a theme. The theme this year, as you see, is movies of Christmas. And so we had 21 entrants this year, and we had judges from outside in the community. One judge said, boy, that's really some esprit de corps. And I'll say that's true, as a matter of fact. So Jingle Mingle was a big success, and we'll do it again in 2025. Next slide. Also, holiday celebration as well is the Winter Mingle that we held here in Carbondale in mid-January at the Stadium Club. As a matter of fact, we had a great turnout. The spirit was great, and we were, happy to have that celebration for our Winter Wonderland. It was really good too. Next one. And the third of our celebrations for the medical students, they have a ball every year. It's called the Winter Ball. It was just a couple weeks ago, as a matter of fact. It's pretty formal attire. It's a really nice event, as a matter of fact. Let's see, more than 2/3 of the students were there, and most of the students from Carbondale come up to Springfield for this ball that's held at the Abraham Lincoln Hotel. If you look in the upper right-hand corner there, you see that both Miss Illinois and Miss Iowa, just recently back from the Miss America pageant, were there. Miss Iowa was a guest of Miss Illinois, who is Jessica Tilton. Next slide, please. And Jessica Tilton is a first-year medical student at the SIU School of Medicine, and she really represented us well. Jessica Tilton, like all of our medical students, will make a great impact on the world in a very positive way. And she, like the rest of those medical students, are really amazing people, and it is great working with her. So that's my report. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Dean Cruz. Our next item is a call for the omnibus motion. Trustees have had approximately 10 days to study the items on the agenda. A certain number of the items are self-explanatory, so as to save time, we act upon them in one motion and vote. Madam Secretary, please read the items suggested for the omnibus motion.
Today's omnibus motion includes board agenda items H through R.
Is there any discussion on items H through R? If not, is there a motion to approve the items for the omnibus motion?
So moved.
So second.
Been moved and seconded. We're now going to call for a roll call vote.
Curtis,
Yes.
Gilbert,
Yes.
Harris,
Yes.
Hightower, Ludwig,
Yes.
Salger. Yes. Sharma,
Yes.
Simmons, Tedrick.
Yes.
I declare the motion has been passed. Board item F, report of purchase orders and contracts for October, November, December 2023 SIUC. Do I have a motion to approve this item?
So moved.
So second.
It's been moved and seconded. We're now going to ask for a roll call vote on item F.
Curtis,
Abstain.
Gilbert,
Yes.
Harris,
Yes.
Hightower, Ludwig,
Yes.
Salger. Yes. Sharma,
Yes.
Simmons, Tedrick.
Abstain.
I declare the motion is passed. Board item G, report of purchase orders and contracts for October, November, December 2023 SIUE. Do I have a motion to approve this item?
So moved.
So
So
second.
second.
It's been moved and seconded. I'm now going to ask the secretary to call the roll for item G.
Curtis,
Yes.
Gilbert,
Yes.
Harris,
Yes.
Hightower, Ludwig,
Yes.
Salger. Yes. Sharma,
Yes.
Simmons, Tedrick.
Abstain.
Okay, the motion passes. That concludes the business of the Board of Trustees today. The next regularly scheduled meeting of the board is planned to be held April 11th, 2024 at the SIU Carbondale campus. A news conference will be held immediately at the conclusion of this meeting. May I have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Curtis,
Yes.
Gilbert,
Yes.
Harris,
Yes.
Hightower, Ludwig,
Yes.
Salger. Yes. Sharma,
Yes.
Simmons, Tedrick.
Yes.
The motion is carried. This meeting is adjourned.
Yes,